We are just a couple days away from the 2021-2022 Season Sim NBA Finals. So here is your guide to what has happened so far in this postseason. We'll start with the standings. The first six in blue are locked in to the playoffs, while in green they will play in the play-in tournament. So the Hawks, Bulls, Cavaliers, Hornets will face each other. The winner of Hawks Bulls is locked into the playoffs. The loser will play the winner of the Cavaliers and the Hornets. Same goes for the West. The first six in red have a locked in playoff spot. The winner of the Timberwolves Clippers will play the Golden State Warriors and lock in a playoff spot. And the winner of Spurs Lakers will face the loser of that game to face the Suns. The loser of 9 through 10 goes home. Let's start with the East, 7 through 8. So the Hawks win 116-98, dominating fashion over the Bulls. The Big Three, unfortunately, could not round up a good run as Trae Young and the Hawks get their win. Of course, they've been dealing with a little bit of injury on their roster with Herder and John Collins. But today, they show what they're made of. I mean, they could be a dark horse playoff pick to make the second round over the Bulls. The Cavaliers win 104-99 after a late run for the Hornets. So Charlotte goes home. They'll miss another playoff opportunity. They will not make their first playoffs. The rookie LaMelo Ball had a great game, 28 points, but it was just not enough to beat Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, and Caris LeVert, as the Cavaliers look to get back to their good glory and make the playoffs for the first time since the 2017-2018 season sim. The Clippers beat the Timberwolves 97-92, as Kawhi has been injured for most of the season, but he came back and he got the win. As, of course, the rookie Anthony Edwards for the Timberwolves has been out for over half the season and will have to come back next year. So the 8th seat takes down the 7th seat in the West, and the Clippers will play the Warriors, and the Timberwolves' playoff chances will have to try and stay alive. But here's the big one. The Spurs beat the Lakers on a buzzer beater from DeJounte Murray. And the Lakers, with LeBron James, miss out. Anthony Davis, of course, injured. So Carmelo Anthony had to step up, and he didn't really fulfill that role. So the Spurs beat the Lakers, and the Lakers will not make the playoffs. So the Spurs will face the Timberwolves. The winner faces the Suns. The winner of the Cavs Bulls will face off with the Bucks, as the Bulls, of course, won that matchup 110-105, as the Big Three will not get denied. DeRozan, Vucevic, LaVine, all having good days. DeRozan, of course, the carrier of the Big Three. Not enough for a talented, but just not good enough Cavaliers squad who will go home and miss the playoffs. The Bulls are in again to face the Bucks. In the West, the Timberwolves win 95-89. They hold off the Spurs to make the playoffs again. It's been a little bit of a while since Minnesota's made the playoffs, as Karl Anthony Towns led the way with 33 points. DeJounte Murray couldn't hit any magic for San Antonio like he did in the first play-in game against the Lakers. So the Timberwolves will move on from a good performance from Towns, and then D'Angelo Russell with 16 points as well. Let's jump in. 5 versus 4. The Nuggets win in 7, by the way. The final score is not 4-3. It would never be that way. But in the series, the Nuggets win in 7. You can see the game leaders for each game on both squads. Luka and Jokic. It felt like each and every game those two were going off. Jokic led the way for 5 games. DeJounte Murray led in games 5 and 6. Jalen Brunson and Spencer Dinwiddie took some of the load off of Luka Doncic. But the Nuggets advanced in 7. The Warriors beat the Clippers in 5 games. Steph Curry and Jordan Poole, his new dynamic duo teammate, both went off. Curry led most of the way. Jordan Poole had 32 points in Game 2, and Klay Thompson led the way in Game 5 to steal the victory up. The Clippers, they just didn't have enough. I mean, the Warriors have 3 dynamic players compared to their 2, but Kawhi was the main player with 3 of the higher scoring games, including 32 points in Game 4 to keep the Clippers alive. The Celtics win in 5. They beat Toronto 4-1 as they look to get to their 4th NBA Finals appearance and try and win their 3rd. Tatum went off in the first couple of games. 36 in Game 1 was his highest as he slowly declined, but Jaylen Brown and Al Horford had his back every step of the way. Pascal Siakam started off strong, and Fred VanVleet was the leader in the Game 4 win for Toronto, and then he only had 19 in Game 5. The Jazz pull up the upset of Round 1 as the 6th seed. They take down Memphis 4-2, and Ja Morant's squad. Morant led the way in 5 of the 6 games, including 45 points in Game 4 to get the win. But on the other side, Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz, who had one of the best defenses in the league, along with a very talented and dynamic player like Donovan Mitchell, were able to rally, including Bojan Bogdanovic, big 31-point game in Game 3 for a crucial win as the Jazz took the final 2. The Bucks and the Bulls, the second time they've met in the playoffs, 4-2, a 6-game win for Milwaukee. Giannis led every single game. Some of the big ones was that 37-point Game 2 win, the 42 points in Game 4, and then the rally in Game 5 when the Bucks were down by 10 going into the fourth quarter. DeRozan had some big games, followed by Levine. They were the big two, as Vucevic was solid in the rebounding game, but Milwaukee overpowers the Bulls. The Sixers win in 5. They beat Trae Young's Hawks in what's been turning into a little bit of a rivalry between these two and also the Hawks and the Knicks. Young, with 35 in Game 1, took the big win as they came back down by 5 with 3 minutes to go. But the Sixers, they have a three-headed monster themselves. James Harden, Joel Embiid, Tyrese Maxey, and even Thibault getting in there with 22 points off the bench in Game 5. This team is very dynamic and could be a threat and are even some of the favorites to make the NBA Finals. The Nets have the only sweep up the first round. They win 4-0 over the Miami Heat, who were favored to win this series, but it's the Nets who sweep them in dominating fashion. Durant and Irving were absolutely phenomenal in this series. Jimmy Butler and Kyle Lowry, they tried, but it just wasn't enough. Those Nets are on fire after losing James Harden from the team, and as he went to the 76ers. The final series of Round 1 are the Timberwolves and the Suns. 4-1, the Suns beat the Timberwolves. No Anthony Edwards really hurt the Timberwolves this season. Karl Anthony Towns, 46 points in Game 3 in the win, but Devin Booker has been one of the best players this entire postseason alongside Chris Paul. That duo has been very strong. They lost the finals in 6th last year, but this could be the year the Phoenix Suns finally take a title home to the desert, so they'll be one 100% to watch. On to Round 2, the Suns are up first, and they beat the Nuggets in 7. Denver won in 7 in Round 1, but they lose in 7 in Round 2. Jokic led the way in 6 of the 7 games, as he put up 43, 39, 38, 37, all right there. His lowest was 26 points in Game 4. Booker was on fire as well, 40 points right there. As the Warriors sweep the Jazz, Utah upset Memphis, and Golden State went on to sweep them. The Warriors haven't made a finals since year number 2, back in 2017 and 2018 season sim was the last time they made a finals, and they sweep Utah and look like finals contenders again with Curry and Poole, their own little duo, along with Klay Thompson there. So really a trio there in Golden State. As we move on to the next series, which is Boston and Philadelphia. The Celtics win in 6 this time over the Sixers, who had a three-headed monster over there, but they cannot capitalize. Embiid only averaged 22 points, which still isn't bad, but nothing compared to what he was putting up in the regular season. Tyrese Maxey, put up the big numbers. James Harden was off and on, but it was Tatum and Brown who really set in as the big two over there in Boston with the consistent games as the Celtics look to win their 3rd Finals. Another game taken to 7. Milwaukee takes down Brooklyn, who swept the Miami Heat, who were favored to beat them. They take the Bucks to 7. Durant and Irving, again, Kyrie was the one who was more consistent, but Durant in the end had more points. You see, 37 in Game 7 wasn't enough. Giannis went off as well. He hasn't had as big as a playoffs, but he's had a more consistent one than any ever. Even with the Bucks championship they scored last year. Can the Bucks go back-to-back, the first one since Boston? On to the conference finals. The Suns are going back for the second season in a row to try and grab redemption. They beat the Warriors in 7. That right there, those 3 final games are the key ones. 41, 40, 46 for Devin Booker. Curry put up huge numbers as well. It was a battle of the offenses in this series, and the Suns prevailed with the second best offense to the Warriors' third. What a massive win for the Phoenix Suns. They'll be playing in the NBA Finals for the second season in a row. Then we have the Celtics beating the Bucks in 6. So the Boston Celtics dethrone the Milwaukee Bucks. One team from last year's finals moves on. The other gets eliminated. The Bucks were just too inconsistent to the Celtics, and the Celtics will try to win their third NBA Finals of the season sim. Milwaukee will go home and try to be better for next year, as they sure are going to be contenders for the next couple of seasons as long as they have Giannis, Chris Middleton, Eric Bledsoe on their team. But you can't go against Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown as well, which sets up the NBA Finals. Game 1 on Wednesday here on ASC. The Celtics and the Suns face off in Arizona to start the NBA Finals. This is ASC. Hope you enjoyed this recap. Signing off.